Okay, yate everybody. Greetings and welcome to Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle this evening. We would like to acknowledge our ancestors and the ancestors of these lands. We're surrounded by 19 pueblos here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and we'd like to acknowledge the lands you're coming from, your ancestors, and we always want to put a beautiful earmark for the people that are the caretakers of the land to leave a nice track here for our future generations. So, Indigenous Ways is dedicated to bridging cultural exchange with people globally, and this platform is working in that way. This evening, we have a very, I can't tell you how many very special guests I can say about Jennifer Gorman. Jennifer Gorman hails from Tseyit, and that's spelled T for Tom, Seyyi. That means in the rocks, also known as Canyon de Chelly. The best place on earth to be is where Jen is from. And we have a lot of context. I got family there. My mom lives there. Jen's mom lives there, and her family's there. And we're very excited to have Jen with us this evening. Jen does a lot of stuff, and I'm going to let her talk about that. I don't want to say too much about Jen because I want Jen to tell us about her walk and how she's dealing with rising in resilience in this time during the pandemic where all of our lives have just been overnight upended on us. So we want to hear from Jen. How you doing it, Jen? Everybody welcome Jen this evening. Woohoo!
Yes, hello. Wow, there's like a bunch of you guys on. It's a little nerve-wracking. But that was faster than you said. I had till 6:03 to 6:05, 6:02. But no, I'm just kidding. But no, thank you guys for having me. I have some notes here as to what I'm going to go into, but of course, first and foremost, yate she Jennifer Gorman yin shia bilagana nishnado chenjikina bashichin nakaishichedo to Chanel. My mom and my dad are Lorna Burris and Melvin Gorman, and I know my mom is on, and then I have my maternal grandmother and probably grandfather listening as well. And then actually my wife is on, Alberta, so looks like she just came on in as well. So, I was born and raised in Chinle, Arizona. So actually inside the Chinle Hospital. And that'll come into play in a little bit when I start talking to, just about my story. But I take a lot of pride in the fact that I was actually born in Chinle. So, not even my dad can say that. I think he was born in Ganado. So, I like that. I like the fact that I was born in Chinle. But I I'm going to skip forward just a little before I go back to my childhood, but I have a degree in exercise science from Arizona State University and a master's degree in sports management. And then I am currently also working towards a master's in addiction counseling. And I have about a year or so left in that particular program, with practicums and such like that. And hopefully I will be transitioning into that role soon. But I have been working in fitness, since about 12 years, since I actually got into the workforce of fitness. I did summer work and different things like that as a temporary hire, and that's over 15 years ago. So been doing fitness for a really, really long time. And again, that'll tie into the story just a little bit because, I think that at least the topic that I was given, and who knows whether I'll be able to keep on track with that or not, is, rise and resilience and how we go through the different experiences in our lives and how we process them and how we come out of them, I guess, and especially at times like we're in right now, we're having to really dig deep. So be kind of touching on just a couple of those things, I suppose. But my current job here at Fort Defiance is I serve as the director of wellness and fitness of the wellness center that's here. And I don't know how many of you guys have been able to kind of swing by and see the facility, but it's gorgeous, very beautiful, and just very grateful, that we have something like this here on the res, really for public health purposes. That's amazing. It's phenomenal. So, very blessed and fortunate to be here and to have been involved in the process actually to getting this place up and going. Talk about an experience and a very unexpected one, but one that, I'm extremely grateful for. But here, right now, obviously with COVID, we're not doing what we have been doing before. So, my department on the pre-COVID side of things was very, very fitness, health, wellness oriented, and really focusing on trying to target our entire community with 3 different kind of focuses. So we had an employee focus. Well, we still do, but we're just not operating that way. An employee focus, a community focus, and a clinical focus. And the department has grown to over 25 people at this point, which is crazy. For a facility to employ 25 people just for fitness department, I guess. But it's been really cool in that, it's nice to see and be a part of something like that. And it's been really interesting as well because, in that whole process of really getting everything going and getting things functioning, we get hit with COVID. So, a lot of different things, just even on the work side. That's not even, we're not even talking about the personal side of things, but just on a work side of things, you guys are in it as well. This isn't just a Jen Gorman thing that we're going through right now. This is a worldwide, issue and pandemic. So, we're all trying to work with this together, and it's been really interesting. So, but I'll get back to that again in a little bit. I kind of wanted to do a little bit of an overview before kind of getting into a little bit more details. But so when I was sitting down and I was thinking, okay, what am I going to talk about here when I'm going to talk about resilience and rising? And I like to do motivational speaking. I like to talk to people, but usually it's done in a one-on-one setting or in a group setting in which I can see everybody's faces. And I tend to do it quite a bit with like a teen population. For some reason, I really feel like I can connect with that group, and probably because a lot of where I felt like my original, maybe behavioral health and mental health issues really began was during that time frame. But so bear with me. With that said, okay, as I go through stuff, but childhood is huge and was huge for me, and is, again, kind of preaching to the choir. Childhood is massive, and I was so flippin' fortunate in almost every possible way I can think of when it comes down to the family that I had. And that's me saying that now. Let me put that out there. That's me saying that now as a 30, almost 5-year-old, I think. It took me a long time to get to that point. But when I look back on it now, I realize, wow, like I was very lucky and I was very fortunate, because I had both sides of my family, and maybe not there all the time, but their presence was known, and they were there, and they were always pushing and promoting, okay, you need to get an education, you need to be doing well, kind of like those major, values, that encouragement that you think of, and it came from both. See, because I'm half white and I'm half Navajo. So my mom's side of the family is white, which traditionally and on a Navajo side of things means that I am white because it's a matrilineal culture. And then, so on my dad's side, being the Navajo side, but I grew up, again, born and raised in Chinle. So I was around essentially my Navajo side of the family. I didn't get to see my mom's side of the family very often, but I grew up in with, I knew my mom was white and I knew that her family was white, but essentially I grew up around a bunch of Navajos. And it was really interesting because in that environment, I didn't realize at the time, even within inside of that environment, it was really diverse. Because I look back on it now and I realize that, I had gone to traditional Navajo ceremonies. I had gone to NAC meetings or Native American church meetings. I had been to church and a couple different kinds of churches, and that's just on, like, I guess I don't know if you want to call it more of a spiritual side of things. And then you have, the perspective of, from a cultural side of things, what is the role of a female? What is the role of a woman? But then even more interestingly than that, I had my Nolly lady, so my paternal grandmother, who defied that even in herself. Maybe one of the reasons why I was so like attached to her in a lot of ways. But it was really interesting because again, I look back on it now and I can see those differences. I didn't realize it then. I definitely didn't. I just grew up in it, and didn't. I had my beliefs. I had my, oh, this is, yes, okay, and I actually was the one that took my Nolly lady to church, to the Catholic Church for the first time, and she ended up getting converted and baptized and everything like that. And I had to go through that's a whole nother story and process of me having to figure out whether that was right or wrong or what I did there. It's funny how as a Native at different times in our lives, you hit that, like, did I just betray our culture? Oh my God, I've contributed to assimilation. Like, and I think I've had that many times throughout my life, but, just, I see that now. And it's really interesting because I think in a way, when we're talking about resilience, I attribute a lot of that diversity to my early resilience, I think. I saw a lot of different things. I had really strong women and really strong men, role models, and of different skin colors. My mom's side of the family, my mom, don't speak Navajo. So you still had to have these two different conversations for everybody to kind of understand what was going on. And I look at that and I think, that I was really raised from very early on to be accepting. Although, of course, my grandma, my Nolly lady, to a certain extent, I'm not going to lie, sorry, Mom. But, sometimes had some quips about, my mom, just probably because there was just a misunderstanding what was in thought process and in culture, but it's interesting because, going through that and kind of seeing those things, I think even as a kid, and I had a, pretty rough, I think, teen time frame. There was a lot of depression that was there for a lot of different reasons. But, when I look at it, I really think about the fact that I was being exposed to a Western belief system. I was being exposed to, again, more of a traditional side of things, and then more of a peyote way kind of side of, and just a lot of different ways to kind of view things. And in the long run, I think that made me very flexible, and made it so that when other people were talking and were discussing about things and, just anything, I could somewhat, to a certain point, say, oh, I think I can kind of see it from their perspective. I think I understand what they're talking about, and it's interesting because, in that, and I'm not saying this is a positive thing, because here's where we're going to get a little serious, when does my life story not go into serious at some point? But, you know, when we talk about the, and again, I'm trying not to focus on these things, so I'm just going to rattle them off because I don't want to tell horror stories. We all have them. We don't need to rehash them. There's no point in reliving it. Again, that'll all kind of tie in here in a little bit, but between just different life experiences, molestation, drug abuse, cutting, suicide attempts, car accidents, just abusive relationships, trying to run away from feelings at every possible, moment of the day. I've experienced a lot of those things, and it's really interesting because, again, looking back on it, I'd be sitting there and sometimes just done, I don't know what's going on. I'm done with it. I might as well just lay down and die right now because life is done. I can't figure this out. And there would be something that would pop into my head. Something, was it the coyote stories that Miss White used to read to my second grade class every single day at 3 p.m.? Was it, my mom reading one of the Bible stories to me from a children's book? Was it hearing my grandma, my Nolly lady, inside my head saying, it's going to be okay, just let's go outside, let's pray about it, it's going to be okay, let me hold you, just different things like that. It's amazing to me how many times those things came up. Those things were what would kind of come to the forefront. And a lot of times it made it a little bit worse before it got better. Like, I'm not going to lie about that, because like you're at this place where you just feel awful and you were like, I just want to be validated in some way, and then there's this positive something that's popping into your mind, or there's this something that's just tugging at your heartstrings that's like, yeah, this is for real, man. You don't want to let this go. And so you get mad, you get frustrated at it because we want to be pissed off. We want to be angry at whatever the situation is that we're in. And, those are the types of things that would pop into my head. And it's not so much that anymore, but I remember at that time really having a lot of those things and saying, oh my goodness, like, I miss my grandma. I need to go see my grandma, or, waking up and not such a good situation. And then at that point, sitting down and saying, all right, let me actually eat a really good meal because I haven't eaten in over a week. And regardless of if what you believe in or what you don't believe in, that I'm not here to judge on that, but it's amazing to me how those memories, and if we can hold on to those positive little memories, those things that at some point in some form or fashion gave us some kind of fulfillment, it's amazing where those things will pop up. And, to a certain extent, how it can and save your life at times. I know it saved mine. I don't know whether that was God, I was being blessed, well, I have my own belief system on that, but, just for everybody in general, I can't say I know exactly what it is, but I do know that I'm blessed. No matter what, I know that for sure through all of that. And I remember when I was in high school, I really got to a point where I was super depressed, and that was the first time I saw a therapist, and no big deal. Well, not no big deal, but I'm skipping over that part. I didn't really connect with him. I didn't like him, so I didn't talk with him. Then by the time I got to ASU and a couple other things that happened, like I said, you guys want to ask me questions later about all the little juicy details, you're more than welcome. Because there's a lot of them, but that was actually the first time I met a therapist that was awesome. That was awesome. And, you know, interestingly enough, this lady was, oh, I don't know, 4'2". She had this huge pot belly. You know, she's this white, she's probably about 70 or so, probably 72, 73 years old, if I remember correctly. And like this crazy orange dyed hair, you know, and she was just a hoot. She was just a really, you know, and she was actually a child psychologist. She was a child psychologist. But she was recommended to me, and I was like, you know, why not give this a shot? And it was really interesting because, you know, I was so comfortable with her. I was so, well, okay. She also had like stuffed animals everywhere, toys, cars, blocks. Now, if you don't know anything about me, all right, so here's a lion. I'm at work, by the way. Here's this little guy there. Here's a toy. Here's a toy. I have more toys. Okay, so I'm a big kid, you know. I'm a big kid. And that immediately sucked me in. I remember I was sitting there cuddling everything, and, you know, she was the first person that I can recall or remember. And at this point, I was like 20, 21, 22 years old, I think. And she was the first person to ask me, so how do you do it? What? What do you mean, how do I do it? Like, how do I do what? You know, I didn't understand. I didn't understand what she was talking about, you know. And ultimately, you know, we really got into, of course, we actually really delved into a lot of childhood and different issues that I had there. But it was really interesting because ultimately what she was really asking was, how is it that you keep going? You know, you consistently are ranking like really awful depression scores. You're consistently getting yourself into, you know, different issues with drugs and with situation or with alcohol, and, you know, you're just not making the right decisions, you know, and but you're also still paying your rent, you're still going to school, you're working full time, and all your bills are paid. So, you know, what's up? You know, why work so hard to just be unhappy the way you are? You know, and that's kind of a really tough question. I mean, why work so hard if you're just going to be as unhappy as you are? And that's really when I started kind of digging down, and not even, and with her a little bit, but also just within myself and learning, wait, I need to really start thinking about myself here. I need to start doing some self-reflection. You know, usually when I would self-reflect, it was, oh, Jen's an awful person. Oh, she made this mistake. Oh, this is why she's an awful person. You know, oh, this is why you're worthless. Oh, you know, I was always this negative, just slew of things that would be coming at me. But what if I actually took a look at myself and was like, well, why, if there's all these awful negative things, and again, it's not saying that I didn't attempt a couple times, but, you know, why is it not working? Why can't you figure it out? Why are you still trying? Like, why are you still trying? And I think, interestingly, this is really where I'm going to pull into resilience, or I guess back into it. You know, really thinking about where where and why and who and all of those crazy questions that sometimes seem to bewilder us. You know, especially within a time like right now. Right now, with everything, all the different things that we don't know. I didn't know I didn't know what diagnosis was right for me, or whether I really was crazy or I wasn't crazy, or I needed medication or I didn't, or I was an addict or I wasn't. You know, I don't know whether this vaccine is coming out tomorrow, if it's going to be in March, and, you know, if how people actually did during Thanksgiving and whether they all got together and whether our numbers are going to triple, and, you know, we're already running out of beds and where are we going to send people? It's the same. You know, it's the same. And when I say it's the same, of course I don't mean the situation. That's different. That changes. You know, throughout our lifetimes, you yourselves can probably think of 5 different things that you've gone through in your life that you're like, I don't ever freaking want to go through that again. And you can probably think of 5 things that you say, wow, I would love to experience that again. I would love to experience that again. You know, and I think that for me, that's been my saving grace. I don't know where it comes from. I tried to give you a little background as to the amazing family I had, you know, and there were issues within that, you know, but I don't know where that comes from, you know, and sometimes it's not there. You know, some of you guys have seen me, you know, sometimes I am not Miss Positive. I don't think everything's going to be okay. Sometimes I'm flipping out, you know, but overall, once I get all that crap out, then I'm able to sit down and I'm able to take a look at things and I'm able to say, hey, you know, actually, this is actually really cool. You know, look at all the stuff that we're doing here. This patient that we called today was so grateful. Or this patient today, we literally saved their life, you know, because we were able to get them in and, you know, they were flown out and they're okay, you know, just, and sometimes maybe they're not okay, but you gave them a freaking fighting chance, you know. And I think those are the types of things that I try. You know, I try so hard to focus on those things, the positive aspects of things. And I try to forgive, you know, individuals or people or situations or circumstances that I don't understand. I'm not good at it all. Again, you know, but you got to try. And to me, I think resilience is trying, you know. I think the technical definition or what have you is, you know, the ability to come out of a situation in the same or better circumstance or place that you were before, which is really broad if you think about it, you know, because how do you get, what is there a time frame? Like, do you have to be better immediately? Or is it something where you're better after 6 months or 6 years? And that's what I believe in with resiliency. You may not realize you're being resilient right now. Just waking up and getting out of bed and putting the coffee there and whining and complaining, you know, all the way to work that you have to go to work. But you still do it. You know, you still get up and you still know that in the long run, there's this person that you care about that you need to contact. It's important to you. You know, and ultimately, I think that's what it comes down to, is trying. I fail all the flippin' time. I do. And the only thing I can do is learn from it. That's it. That's all I can do. I make a mistake and all I can do is learn from it. If I hurt somebody, all I can do is apologize and ask how I can make sure they don't do it again. With COVID, all I can do is take care of myself, wear my mask, make sure I'm educating people, wash my hands for 20 seconds, cry, kick, scream, let it all out. And then I think about it and I'm like, damn, you know what? I actually don't speed as much anymore because COVID made it that I don't need to speed. Why should I rush everywhere? That's a positive. Speeding is not healthy for you or for me. And I speed so much less now because I just want to relax. Hey, that's a positive thing. I know here on the res, when you look around, people have actually started building and adding onto their homes and painting their houses and, all that stuff. Like, dude, that's really awesome. People are hopefully, you see several of them investing in themselves, investing in their families. That's resiliency, and I think that it's interesting because again, you read a Western concept of it and it's, some people it's more genetic and some people it's not. I'm not saying that's not the truth. I obviously am completely Western educated and I'm getting a degree in addiction counseling, but it's also something where we don't have to be so definition bound. Think about that, you guys. We don't have to be so definition bound. Resiliency is making sure that we reach out when we need help. Know what you're not good at. I am not good at budgets. So I hired somebody to take care of budgets at work, and you just got to know, what are you not good at? Go ask for help. You already know, I'm not good at this. 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 I need to source those things out. I'm going to need help on those things. I'm really great at these things. So let me get this moving forward. I'm a fixer, and that totally can backfire at times. But ultimately, I think the big thing, no matter what, that I see it is I think all of you guys are resilient. Everyone who's here, who even took the time to log into this, you're seeking betterment for yourself in whatever way, because everybody has something to give to everybody else. No ifs, ands, or buts. You can't keep what you have without giving it away, point blank, period. So, you're here. And that's the amazing part about resiliency. That's all it takes. Trying. And sometimes you don't even know you're trying. But give yourself credit for that. Don't let that just slide on by and whatever, it's not there. No, it's there. You did that. You made that choice. Give yourself credit for that, And I think that's a really big part of managing what we're going through right now. There's so many unknowns, so many things that, where, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I wish I did, but I don't. Think back on a time in your life when you wished you had the answer, but you really didn't. There's probably several. And guess what? You're right here, right now. You got through it. You got past it. Maybe it still haunts you a little bit, but it's not there. It's in the past. We're right here, right now. And that's the amazing thing, I think, about just remembering who we are and remembering where we came from. And if that wasn't such a great thing, then remember that all of this that's touching the ground right now, that's where you are, that's breathing in the air, man, we're freaking miracles. I know that may sound really hippie-ish and I don't know, but several of you guys know me on here. You knew this was going to get to this point anyway, but like for real, resiliency is just being able to take a look at every name that's on this screen and say, man, Thank you, man. I bet you that person's really cool. And just sending that positive thought out there. And then without any other weird crap coming into your mind, take a look at all these people that are here and assume in a good way that they're thinking positive thoughts about you. Maybe they're not, but who cares? You know, Amber works with me all day long. She could probably sit down and say all sorts of crap about me. But I'm going to sit here and say, no, Amber is holding her son right now. And she's saying, oh my God, this Jen just loves you and we love her. I'm going to imagine that in my head, and that's what I'm going to hold on to. And that is what I'm going to think about as I'm driving home tonight, tired, but, oh, there's a baby who loves me. And that's going to help me get it tomorrow morning, you know? So I think resiliency doesn't have to be so huge. It can be real small. Just a lot of really small things put together to make something amazing. And that's you. That's me. That's us. You know, that's really freaking cool. And so, you know, ultimately, I guess that's what I really wanted to share. It was all over the place. You guys didn't get, you know, you probably are like, I have no idea what this girl is all about whatsoever. But, you know, I guess what I really wanted to share with you guys is you can do it. You know, we've all had some pretty rough times, and I'm not saying that to try and normalize or generalize or say that my issues are the same as yours, because they're not. None of our stuff is the same ever. And some of us probably are going through a harder time than other people. That's the nature of life, you know. But ultimately, you know, regardless of any of that, I'm just, you know, really grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be a failure. I'm grateful to be successful. I'm, you know, I'm grateful when I cry, even though I don't think so. You know, everything that we go through and everything that I've gone through, I'm really, ultimately, I will, if I'm not grateful for it yet, I will be later. I will. It'll teach, I'll have learned something. I have to. I mean, you know, I learn everything the hard way. So if I have to learn the hard way through COVID, well, that's nothing new. That's how Jen rolls, you know, and I'm okay with that because it's me. This is how we roll, you know. And I'm not saying that to try and brush things off. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to say this, and I'm struggling to say it. But nobody's perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We're always going to make mistakes. And the key is to stand back up and keep trying to go forward. And that's resiliency. That's my definition of resiliency. So every single person that you see, you know, every day, that person has resiliency in them. They do. And it's just a matter of really sitting down and, you know, hopefully on a day-to-day basis, becoming a little bit more familiar with it. So some days I'm good at it. Some days I'm not. And so we work through it together, you know, and I think that's the biggest thing is I just want to let you guys know is it's together. I attribute a lot of my resiliency to my childhood and the family that I had, you know, whereas you may attribute your resiliency to something completely different, and that's amazing, you know, but it's there. And I'm really grateful. I'm grateful that you guys spent the time to even listen, you know, and by all means, if you guys want to reach out or have questions for a little bit later, I'm down for that too. You know, but we're here and we're together. And I guess that's kind of the biggest point to resiliency, right? You know, is, you know, I don't know, I guess for me, again, I'm a very social individual. If it was just me and I'm just surviving just for myself, then, you know, that's kind of boring. I'm no fun. by myself, you know. No, I do it for you guys. I do it for my family. I do it for my friends. I do it because, you know, this is where the fun is at. This is what I get the most enjoyment out of is people. And so, you know, I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining me. And you know, if at any time you want to talk or you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. I love to talk. I'm a talker, so I'll hand it back to you. I tried to keep my time.
Thank you very much, Jen. And we are so grateful to know you and to have gotten a little slice of your life in on the Navajo Nation this evening. And it's very obvious that you're a well-rounded person simply by where you come from and your surroundings. And you know, I love people that read. So obviously, your grandmother Trudy is one of my favorite people because she reads and she's really smart. And Ray, your grandfather, super exotic. Your traditional Navajo Gorman family in Chinle, very respectable Navajo speaking people. And of course, your mother, Lorna, my favorite person on planet Earth, one of them at least. I have many, but Lorna's one of them and one of the most amazing human beings I know. Lorna, I know you're here with us tonight, and I'm so glad you decided to stay on the res. Yay! So
Woo-hoo!
we got Jen and all your family to enjoy on the reservation. So with that being said, we look forward to having our festivals back on the reservation when COVID is over and it's safe and everybody's got a vaccine. We're planning on doing our festivals back at Dene College and in Chinle. And Jen has been our MC for our festivals on the reservation. And I'm gonna tell you what, this young woman can run marathons, but she can also be an MC for an 8-hour festival, man. She's like on stage all day long, telling jokes in between when people are doing sound checks and taking guitars and equipment off. You know,
Crying.
Jen's up there telling stories. I don't know how
Crying.
you do it, Jen, but you're pretty amazing. We love you, Jen. I'm going to pass the microphone over to my beautiful partner here, Elena, and we got some really exciting stuff tonight. Stay tuned. And then we want to invite you back in just a moment.
Thank you so much for that, Tash. And thank you, Jen, for sharing your experience with resilience and rising. If this is your first time in with the Zoom, we're so glad you're here. Or if you're in our social media, thank you for blessing us all this evening with your essence, as Jen also recognized. This is the time where we're going to just share what's up and coming in the Indigenous Ways virtual events. So next week, we have the beautiful Lorenzo Jim. He is a Navajo Dene and is at the First Nations Health Center in Albuquerque. He's been doing extraordinary things down there and being of great service to all the pueblos and the reservations in the corners in New Mexico of taking PPE and food and all sorts of things. So he's going to come and share about that, the rising and resilience. So be sure to come back, or if you have low coverage or bandwidth, you can catch us on all our social media that you'll see just down below Tash and myself. So if you're in social media, be sure to like our page. Above us, our head, you can find out about all the amazing people that have been in, that are up and coming in our website, IndigenousWays.org. And this is all possible. All these events are free. There's no cost. But I'd like to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsors who have made this possible. That is the National Endowment of Humanities, the New Mexico Humanities Council, the West Ave Cares, West Ave, the New Mexico Arts, and also the National Endowments for the Arts. So we're very grateful for all of those sponsors, or also to all those amazing individual donors that have contributed to support all our our presenters that have been on, and also our amazing interpreters who we have had through all of our events, where we started the 1st of April, and making access available to all. So I just want to give a beautiful shout out to Crescesiando, who's with us right now. And before, we had Sandra, our ASL interpreters tonight. So thank you. What else is happening? Who can believe it? We're in December. Who would have thought? We're still here, as Jen said. So these are all the people who will be in, and you can see that in our website. Tash.
We have some amazing presenters. We have some authors. We have a best-selling author, Pam Houston. Can you believe that, Trudy? We got Pam Houston coming. And we got Chip Livingston. Ray, we got Chip Livingston coming. And we've got Lorenzo Jim, and he's a Hitachi. He's a medicine man, and he works with Native American addiction recovery prevention in Albuquerque, doing a great job there. And our beautiful sister Cass, she's here in Santa Fe, and she is a rafter. This woman gets out on the water. She's a mother. She's a woman of color. She's deaf and proud and beautiful. And we're so excited to have all of our presenters. And
we've also got Talaba Begay, who's huge throughout Indian circles. She'll be blessing us through the concert series, which is the 3rd month of Saturday. But as we said before, if you go to IndigenousWays.org, you'll be able to find out more about those wonderful individuals.
She meant 3rd week of Saturday, not 3rd month of Saturday.
Oh, thanks, Tash. Okay, so you can see a couple of things. One, we have a very boring background. The month of November was Native American Heritage Month. We had this extraordinary quilt donated by the beautiful Julie Kaufman, who's a quilter here, a local quilter in Santa Fe, New Mexico. She wanted to donate this amazing quilt. And also, as you know, we've been doing lots of runs to Black Mountain on the Navajo Nation. Her big thing is water. And so for the month of November, we had this online where you could purchase a ticket for $10, and it would put you in the raffle. If you bought if you did $50, you get 6 tickets. So behind us is the wonderful fishbowl with everyone's names in it. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw that and let you know who won this extraordinary quilt, which is reversible, thanks to Julie Kaufman. And also, everyone's a winner here, because all the money that went towards the quilt, which was $680. So we've got 61 names. You've got 1 of 61 chances in the bowl. All of that money goes for the long-term solutions of getting water to Oak Ridge, which is on Black Mountain. And so that's a project that we're going to be talking about more through this platform. But what you want to know is who won the quilt. So let's give it a big shake up. And a drum roll, diddle, 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 da. Actually, what I'll do is I'll hold it, Tash, and you can talk. Hang on, wait. Let me give it a good shake.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go.
Go, come on.
Oh. Close your eyes. Okay. Who is the wonderful?
Oh my God!
Who is the wonderful recipient of this beautiful quilt?
Are you
tonight?
Ready? Lillian Orbke.
Lillian Orbke, who is
Orbke.
in Cortez, Colorado. So we're going to be posting that to you tomorrow.
God. I want to
Lillian.
cry. I want to cry. Lillian is not with us tonight, but she's going to be shocked. She is one of our colleagues in the interpreting world. She is a fisherwoman. She fly fishes. She hunts for deer. She's an amazing ASL interpreter. She's a wonderful human being. So there's not a more deserving person than Lillian. She
So
didn't
w-
get her deer this year, so we'll make up for it with this blanket. Woo!
So
Yeah.
we want to thank everyone for participating and making the start of long-term water solutions up on Black Mountain possible. So going with that, we also received some CDs from Hillary Noble. The artwork was done from Jerry Barney. We're going to toss that in the postal box, which is here, which has got the quilt in it. So some wonderful sounds coming from Boston, Massachusetts. So thank you, Hillary, for that. Also, thank you, Julie, in making this possible, but also thank you, all of you who participated to make the funding of this possible.
Woo! Yeah.
Now, if you missed out, we've also got a page to donate, PayPal, Venmo. There's, if you go to the website, IndigenousWays.org, you can donate. We're going to be starting the end of the year. Yesterday was Giving Tuesday. Thank you all of those people that shared the link on their social media pages. We yesterday, Indigenous Ways, thanks to all of you, got $2,000, just under $2,000. So thank you. That goes towards all the back end and the administration to make this possible, that we can do all the things, the runs, the virtual events. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're going into the, what is it called?
Everybody come on in. That's
All
what it's
right.
called. Everybody turn your cameras off and so we can see your beautiful faces, and turn your microphones on so we can hear your beautiful voices. And also you can also sign language. We have beautiful interpreters with us tonight. I feel like crying. I can't believe Lillian won this blanket. She's an amazing, amazing human being.
So if you're new here, it's up to you whether or not you want to turn your video on and have a chin wag here to Jen, or just check in. Particularly in this time of what we're going through, you might have some questions or comments for Jen, or just a general check-in. If you're in our social media pages, just toss a comment in the box and we will read it.
Lorna says, your mom to you, Jen. We are so much the same. We all love. We see that importance in family and friends. It is amazing to be here and now. We all just want to laugh. We all just want to relax. That's from mom to Jen. Okay, who would like to start this evening? Would you like to share some words with us tonight, Donna? You've been our wonderful diehard, coming every week with your beautiful partner. Thank you. We love you. We miss you. We can't wait to see you back in Ohio.
Well, I'd like to. Yeah, we'd like to see you in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Jen, that was very inspirational. It's great to know that no matter what you come from, where you are, it's okay. It's all okay. And it's positive and good. And I always hear a message that helps me every time I come here. So I keep coming back.
Yep. People are amazing.
Thanks.
All right, Christina Bueno. Do you want to say some words, Christina, from New York City?
Hi, this is Christina. Yes, I'd like to thank you, Jennifer, for sharing your life story with us. And I know and I understand the struggles, because I too have faced struggles and had to live through them. Struggles, you mentioned your identity and life, and wondering how we matter. And then you talked about religion, the conversion, your grandmother to Catholicism, and just the different variety that exists in the world, the different types of culture. I've gone through something similar, where I have a father who's Mexican. My mom is American too. And those are two different routes and two different cultures. And my dad was Catholic and said, you have to be Catholic. And my mom was American, and she was open-minded, and it didn't matter to her which way I went. And just with the whole difference in many religions that exist, I can look back and think to myself, well, I wish I understood more what God meant because I didn't understand then. And I didn't understand what Jesus Christ meant until a few years ago. And I'd spoken to spiritual leaders, and they had told me not to worry about baptism and that that's not a must or a requirement in life. And what I was told is live as you will live on earth until you pass. And when I pass, I will join the stars. And that's all we can do. We can't spend our time worrying about what's going to happen at the end of our life. We can't do that. And I really appreciate what you said. We're not perfect. None of us are perfect. And that's the absolute truth. We all make mistakes. And sometimes we make mistakes, and those mistakes actually help us turn into a better person.
Yeah, amen to that. No kidding. I mean, thank you, Christina. There's it's good to hear that, you know, because I think even though you say it, or even though I say it, right? We say it to other people all the time. It's easy to, because we're like that. We're givers. We like to support other individuals. But then being able to take that and look at it and actually really, instead of just, yeah, I love you, you know, actually really looking at yourself and being able to say that and recognize those things. I mean, we're always going to have things that drive us nuts or that trigger us or make us go bananas, you know, but if we can just get through that moment, after that moment, you realize, that was kind of funny, or like you can detach yourself from it being so serious, you know, and I think that's just, it's great. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Christina.
Thank you too.
And thank you, Jen. And Christine McDewitt from Ohio. Would you like to say some words?
Hello, thank you so much. Part of my resilience is getting on here every Wednesday night. I slide home, come in the garage. I'm like, I'm tired. My head hurts. I just got home from work. The dogs are all over me. What? I don't want to pay attention to one more person. And then I turn this on. Donna's like, come on. And we turn it on and we listen. And always, of course, before the end, I feel better.
Yeah.
So thank you for your message and for reminding me. I experienced a lot of not feeling like I belonged or fit as a teenager. Took me quite a while to figure it out. And especially I just didn't feel like I fit with myself because I didn't think I was okay. And that message of just, you know, be who you are and be okay with it. And make mistakes and be okay with it. And you know what? Sometimes you can just laugh about what you just did, or why did I do what? But okay, but I'm okay. so I screwed that up. But
Yeah.
I'm still here, and you know, this is another moment after another moment after another moment, and each moment is an opportunity, and we can always take that resilience back and just move forward. And you know what? That's okay, because it's not about perfection. It's just about progress.
Yep.
And thank you for the reminder to not do it alone, and remember to ask for help, because I forget. I'm self-employed. I work alone in a service industry, one-on-one with clients, and I do forget to ask. So thank you for the reminder and just your wonderful message and story. It's wonderful every week that I show up.
Awesome. Thank
Love
you.
to all of you.
Good job pulling her. Yep.
I've got to second that as well. And it's always wonderful to see both of you. And kudos for Donna and always dragging you in. But when you're here, you don't know what it means for Tash and I to see all of you. And even though we can't see you in the social media or those who are watching the recordings of this, We really deeply appreciate it because all the presenters, like Jen herself, are just so extraordinary. That's why we love them. We've been very blessed as we've met all these people in our journey, and they have, like all of us, very powerful stories to share. And it's so important, particularly at this time of what we're going through, of how do we do this together. And it's as a collective. It is the listening, it's the taking in, and it's those beautiful trials and tribulations. Some of us don't want to share it, but it's really important to share it.
All right. Thank you very much. And Caleb, do you want to say anything before we call it a night, Caleb? All right. Well, thank you very much, Caleb. Thank you for being with us tonight. And we really appreciate you and your family too. So everybody, let's give it up for Jen. Thank you very much, Jen, for being with us tonight.
Oh, thank you guys.
Some good rest tonight. Some good food.
Right on, Jen.
Yay,
Right
Jen.
on,
Yay,
Jen.
Oh,
And
you guys and your smiling faces.
thank you for your beloved and being on, and also all your family that have come in to support you and through social media or your friends and that. But we're in this really amazing time. We're going into winter. We want to see you all back here next week as we have journeyed from April. So it is staying safe, being safe in our little bubbles, as painful as that is. But we want to be able to see you when we can all meet again.
Yes.
And that's really important. Our social distancing, wearing masks if we have to go out. We want to see you back here. And so that's why we're doing this, so we can all stay connected. I want to thank our amazing ASL interpreters and making access available for all. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! We'll look forward to seeing you back here next week with Lorenzo Jim, who's going to share some amazing medicine. But please, let's give it up one more time for Jennifer Gorman and sharing her amazing medicine with us this evening. Be well, be safe, be good.
Take care, you guys. We love you.